So we're just glad to reach out again today to our ever valued, ever important cafe partners out there. We feel, Roy, do you reckon that we're entering a particular phase in, you might say, a recovery phase? It's great to see the numbers of infections coming down, and everyone's feeling, I think, a little bit more positive. We're seeing the social isolation procedures that we've been working under actually showing fruit, and we're very glad of that. And thanks to everybody for working with those restrictions, because it's really paying off, and I think it's going to really pay off economically too for our cafes to get through this in as quick a time as we can. So, can we call this a recovery phase, Roy? You've been out and about there. What do you reckon? Do you reckon, what are you seeing?
Yeah, I definitely think we can call it a recovery phase. People are gaining renewed confidence, but we also must see it. I think a lot of our customers are seeing it as the new norm. Some of the patterns that have come out in obvious things like takeaway, and also people are, if there's a cafe where you have to walk into the cafe to the back of the store to get your coffee or whatever. I go past a lot of cafes these days and a lot of them are empty. People love being able to stand out in the fresh air, whether it's a window or somehow the cafes have been set up to have that point of sale right at the door, so that customers feel like they don't have to come in and be in that environment where the infection and whatever could be going around. So recovery is probably true, but I think we need to take it on as a new normal.
Yeah. What we are finding is that people are still going to get their rewarding experience. It's a little bit of luxury of going to get a cup of coffee. It doesn't cost them a lot, and it's a reason that they can go out, that they're allowed to do. People are thankful. There's some things they're allowed to do, and one of them, which is great for the coffee industry, is that you're allowed to go and get a coffee, and people are using that little liberty. And I think you could tell us, some of our cafes that have that window out onto the street, what's happening to their sales.
Yeah, well, it's good. First thing, I'll just touch on what you were saying. It's great. We've always known that coffee is essential to the Australian way of life, or the Melbourne way of life where we are now, but all across the country. And it's great that the government is also recognising it as essential, the time where we can get out. The window of opportunity is real. It comes in the form of a window, some way. I had a little wine bar in an area in Hawthorne, and he rang me last Thursday and he said, I've come up with this idea. I want to open my bifold window at the front of the store, and I want to put a coffee cart there, because I've got cameras on my shop, and I was watching them for an hour the other day, and I saw 100 people walk past the front of my shop. Anyway, I thought it was a good idea. Didn't know how it was going to go, but he assured me that he had a really good local following. He set up this coffee cart, we got him some coffee, he put a post on Instagram at 9 PM the day before opening, and at 8 AM the next day when he opened his window, he had a line of about 30 people there waiting for a coffee.
Oh, that's great news, because that means that people, number one, they're watching their social media. Number two, they're wanting a quick and easy coffee. They still want, especially the mornings are quite crisp and cold down here in Melbourne, and people are wanting that little luxury.
And they're wanting to support
local business
where they can.
Small business, local business, their local cafe. We've got that other group in Sydney that blows me away. Between three cafes, we're doing about 120 kilos a week. They've gone up to 360 kilos a week during this time. And that's all takeaway out the window.
Yeah.
So it can be done. And we just want that. Everybody's circumstance is different. We understand that. But we just want to hang that little bit of positivity out there that people are drinking coffee, they're loving it.
Yeah.
And you can be part of the action.
Cafe owners, some of our other staff have been giving us stories, and one theme or thread that runs through it is cafe owners need to be creative, and they need to be innovative, and they need to have a survivalist approach. And what I think that means for a cafe is I don't for a second proclaim to know everything about a cafe, and here we are mainly talking about coffee because I know food has taken a big hit in cafes. But I had another cafe owner who reluctantly, due to looking after his staff and ensuring their safety during the peak of the virus as it was coming, he decided to close for 2 weeks. Upon reopening, he has recognised some of his regulars that had to find another cafe to get their morning fix, and he's now seen them swap to that. So there is that. We've got to remember that this is a longer term thing than just right now, the 2 weeks or the month. This is something we've got to get through, and maybe a small loss on a weekly basis, or a reduced income or turnover of your coffee sales of your whole cafe may not be such a bad thing. Rather, just do everything you can to support your regulars that have supported you for the last 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Be there for them.
So we want to put ourselves in your shoes. We want to be empathetic, because every cafe owner's got a different set of circumstances, and we understand that. And we understand, you might say, you guys might be going through a dilemma right now. Do I take the plunge and reopen and maybe face making a bit of a loss? Things are uncertain. Or do I stay closed and risk maybe losing some of my regulars, those precious loyal patrons that support my cafe, to someone else who is open? And that's a real challenge. And really all we're encouraging is there anything we can do to help you? Is there anything we can do? I know we've been out there, we've moved cafe machines to the front of shelves, we've run the power lines, we've done whatever, and we are willing to help you if it's something simple and practical that we can do to help. Our technicians will be there to help you. But we wish you all the best, you might say, in exploring those innovations that you can maybe put in place to get yourself ahead.
Yeah, well, I even had, just on that, may not even be something as major as moving the coffee machine to the front. I had one cafe this week who just asked, he said, could I have 20 Zest Coffee boxes made up, but with nothing in them, just the box. He said, I'm going to use them to create a wall or a barrier so that my customers that are waiting for their takeaway food know where to stand. I thought that was a great thing that we could do. Hey, it's not a big cost, but it's creative and it's thinking outside of the box and creating something.
Oh, it's thinking in the box.
But just giving them something to link on with that customer. It still looks part of the cafe, but it's those little things that maybe you've got a suggestion that you can table with myself or whoever your coffee rep is. Give them a call and let's discuss how we can get you back on your feet.
And what I think we'd like to say is, whatever your situation or circumstance, there's probably things that all of us as business people, as cafe owners, should be thinking about right now that we can do in our businesses, you might say working on our businesses when we might have a bit more time, to make them stronger. So the old cliche now, bounce back stronger when the time comes, which I think it's coming pretty, we're getting towards it, where things start to relax and open up a little bit. Are you going to be as strong as possible? And that might be little things like looking at your systems, looking at your workflows, maybe a small paint job that you would never have time to do otherwise, and maybe we can do ourselves. I mean, we know we've done that kind of thing, and just spruce the place up a little bit, maybe move things around that you've been wanting to move around for a while. What, as I define it, because I wouldn't say no one, but money, generally people are conserving funds at the moment, so I'm not talking about huge expense things, but I would say low cost, high return things that you can do now. And we've got time to think about it, we've got time to plan it, and just make those tweaks. Is it looking at your menu and redoing your menu?
Yeah, I think the menu is an interesting one, because a lot of cafes have been set up for success in the last 6 months. They've been doing very, very well. And the thought process is, do I really change everything that I'm doing to take hold of what the current circumstances are? I don't know. This is just my and our point of view, is you would have to put a lot of weight on doing some drastic changes. And those that are doing them are finding currently that it's very successful. Another awesome cafe down at Docklands that you would think would be struggling. Docklands being a place where tourists come, and there's a lot of that foot traffic is dispersed. The wife, who's the owner, husband and wife ownership there, the wife looked at the menu and said, would I be feeding my children this? And she went back and she redid the menu. There's things like lasagnas, these risottos, all these type of things which...
Isn't that the one that's doing a simple fish and chips and it's going out the window?
Fish and chips, things like that where...
Takeaway window, that is.
You may have to adjust things for now.
So what I would just simply say is, as a business, you've got your values, you've got your USP, you've got your core focus. We're not telling you to lose touch with that or give that up and do something completely different. But how can you channel what you're doing and make it so that people can take it up right now? There's people that are doing that group in Sydney. They do these beautiful pastries. What we do find is that things that are sweet, little sweet treats, pastries, croissants, whatever, are going very well. Not so much savoury. It's just an interesting thing that people are picking up a coffee and something sweet, and it's selling well. So just it's those tweaks that maybe you can think about and apply in your business. So Roy, we've done a bit of talking now, but how can we help our customers at this time? I guess everybody realises that coffee roasters are also doing it tough. And we haven't got heaps of gold coin to give away. But if there's anything that we can do to help you at this time, please call out. There's a few things that we can offer you. The one is a positive attitude. We find that it's so essential. We've got our whole team. Thanks to the government's provisions, we've managed to retain our team. Our top staff, which help us keep up with our commitment to flavour, great flavour in the cup, great service, looking after you. There's no diminution in that, and we would like to commit to that. But talking about a positive attitude, if it's alright just to tell that little story. At the beginning of this year, for some reason we decided to take the staff to a bit of a team building exercise. We went to a place called The Summit, where they had this excellent instructor and like an obstacle course that the team goes through. Now, one of the challenges, because they're challenging you physically and mentally, aren't they? But one of the challenges they had was this terrible thing. It was, you basically went down into a little hole in the ground.
They called it the wombat hole.
Yeah. Went into this hole, and you had to crawl down this tunnel, which for a small guy like me, it kind of was pretty cozy. I had to sort of leopard crawl along this tunnel, and once you put your head in that tunnel, it was pitch dark. And one of the things they told us beforehand, make sure that you keep together. So you head to toe, but you're right behind the person in front of you, and you keep talking. They said communication is absolutely essential when you're going through your darkest patch. Communication is essential,
yep.
And a positive communication, a positive attitude. So you're telling the person in front, keep going, we'll get there, and he's telling the one behind you is giving you encouragement. It was a scary experience. Like my heart was in my mouth when it's absolutely pitch black in the tunnel. But the thing with this tunnel is it goes along and then it takes a bend. And as you go around that bend and you've got about just 10 metres to go.
You first almost hit the bend. Like that's the first thing. You come up to it and you get to your worst point where all of a sudden in the pitch black, you're something else there. But then you turn and you
take the bend and there you see the light at the end of the tunnel. So that was the light at the end of the tunnel. That day it was real. And I think we're at that time where the light's on at the end of the tunnel, and with a bit of positivity and a bit of forward push,
Persistence.
we can get there. Persistence. Yeah. And with that, there's one last thing that we can do for our customers, and we're talking to our cafe customers, our cafe owners out there. I've got something I would like to offer to every cafe owner, that our customers that support us with coffee. I want to give a free hand sanitizer. This is just something that our sister company Active Hospitality produces. It's a hand sanitizer, can be used in a foamer or a sprayer. And I want to offer a free 5 litre to all of our customers that get this video, and just simply email either roy@zestcoffee.com.au or rod@zestcoffee.com.au. Say, free sanitizer please, as per video, and we'll send you one. Keep your cafe
healthy. Make sure that you've got that there so that your customers can see that you're doing what you can. And then one customer has taken it even further. When I told him about it, he said, well, what I'm going to do is, if I can get more of this, he's going to trial it with this one, is I'm going to offer people, come and grab your morning latte, bring your bottle from home, your hand sanitizer bottle, bring it from home, and I'll fill it up for you. Great thinking.
Great. So thanks for that. We're thinking of all you guys out there, and all the best.